Good morning, friends. Today I should be discussing a very important topic of automobile engineering. That is a steering system of a four-wheel vehicle. Now, the steering system. How does the steering system operates? It is a very vast topic. So now we should be discussing a the easiest parts. How to tackle, how to discuss it, how to take the important parts of the steering system. Now, while discussing the steering system, first basically we should understand how the mechanical steering operates and what are the different types of steering systems are there. Then we should understand what are the steering gearboxes are there. Then we should understand what is the steering mechanism. Once we have just covered it up, and we have to know the steering different steering geometry parameters also, like camber, caster, toe in, toe out, all the system that is basically of the wheel alignment, which is related directly with the steering system. Now we should be discussing all these things vividly. Now after the discussion, we should be going for the modern day steering system, which totally operates in a fluid control power system by the help of a steering pump, and the steering pressurized fluid operates it. Now we should be discussing after that. But once we do not know how the basic or the manual steering system operates, we are not in a position to understand how the modern advanced steering system operates. So let's start from the basic steering system. So as you see in the figure, there are two types of steering mechanisms are shown. The first one is shown of the steering link for rigid axial suspension, and the other one is shown the steering ring for independent suspension. Now how does it works? Basically we should discuss. First we should discuss for the rigid for the suspension for the rigid axial system. Now we see that the steering wheel gives a motion. For the steering wheel, the motion comes to the steering column. From the steering column it comes to the steering gearbox, and from the steering gearbox the motion follows. So up to here it comes to the steering gearbox. Now as we have started with the understanding that there are different types of gearbox available to us. Now we should start with the basic. We should not go deeper into the gearbox. When we to deal with the gearbox, we should discuss on that. Now for the time, for the sake of this time, we just take that the power enters up to this gearbox only. Okay, the power. Now from there what happens? The drop arm called the Pitman arm. The drop arm. This is the drop arm, which is also called the Pitman arm, is rigidly connected to the cross shaft. It's rigidly connected to the cross shaft of the steering gear. The cross shaft is not shown over here. It's rigidly connected to the cross shaft of the steering gear. At its upper end, the other end of the link rod is connected to the link rod arm through a ball joint. Attached rigidly to the other end of the link rod arm is the stub axle on which the road wheel is mounted. Each stub axle has a forged track rod arm rightly bolted to the wheel axis. The other end of the track rod arm are connected to the track rod by means of ball joint. The design of this ball joint is such that the expanding springs compensates for wear on the piece adjustment. An adjuster is also provided in the track rod, as you could see in the figure, to change its length for adjusting the wheel alignment. An adjuster is provided over here to in the track rod to change its length for adjusting wheel alignment. So you could change the length of the track rod for the wheel alignment. The adjuster is provided. Now there are certain problems in the steering linkage for rigid axial suspension. The first thing is that in case of conventional rigid suspension system, the main axial beam ensures the movement of the stub axle in horizontal plane only. In this, therefore, there is no vertical deflection of the suspension, and hence there is no change in effective track rod length. However, to avoid this, there comes the independent suspension system. Now an independent suspension system, here 3-piece track rod is used. The center portion being called the relay rod. 3-piece track rod is used. Now here, instead of using one track rod, we are using 3-piece track rod. The 3-piece, so this is the track rod 1, this is the track rod 2, and the center one is called the relay rod. which is connected at one end to an idler arm. And now here which is connected at one end to the idler arm. So the track rod, one end of the track rod is connected to the idler arm. The relay rod is restricted to move its horizontal plane only. Movement in the vertical position is provided by the outer portion, that is the thyroid joints, about the end ball joints. So the vertical motion is basically provided by the outer portion, that is the thyroids, about the end ball joints. So about the end ball joints, the vertical, that is this direction perpendicular to both, this motion can also be provided. So here if you compare this, what is the difference between these two? Here in case of using one thyroid, here the thyroid is broken into three parts. That is that is the thyroid of the track rod, same name, it has got the same name. Here the track rod is broken into, or the thyroid is broken into three parts. One part this one, and another part this one, and within this is connected the relay rod, so that it could adjust according to the bumps and the bumps and movement digs in the road. So and the other end is connected of the relay, the track rod is connected to the relay rod, is connected to the idler arm.